Flame Tech Football Friday. Friday Night Football, and I think it's the first time in my life that I'm going to a regular season game in the Canadian Football League that does not include the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Tonight it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Toronto Argonauts, and my good man, the sports doctor, Dave Petrishen, joins us at Canada Life Centre. Hey, don't mind the jerseys here. Should we leave these up? I'm not sure. They look good. This is from Lacrosse Canada. How you doing, Doc?
I'm great. Thank you for inviting me, and welcome to our city.
Thank you. You guys have been so hospitable to us. Very Winnipegish of you to be so kind.
You're big in this town. Our mayor uses that term now. Remember I sent you that clip, right?
Yes, that's right. Very Winnipegish. Very nice. By the way, I got gear for you in the car. I'm going to have to hook up with you later. I didn't bring it down.
Well, I wear a little charity today.
Yes.
I'm the vice president of the Winnipeg chapter of Dreams Take Flight, and I wanted to make everybody know. This trying times and difficult times, we've always done well. We've been blessed with employment and things like that, and there's a lot of charities. If you are blessed with employment, a lot of charities that need support. So I thought I'd put my charity badge on.
Yeah, you're big on that.
I am.
Lapo too, right?
Yeah, we had Paul Lapalese 2 years go with us. Dreams Take Flight is the organization that piles a bunch of kids in a plane, and we go down to Disney for one magical day. These are children that would never get an opportunity to go to Disney World in Florida, and so we fundraise all year, and usually in April we fill the plane and we go down. We basically get to the airport 3 a.m. and come back at 1 a.m. So we have a lot of fun. And yeah, I've got Paul Lapalese involved, and he's been with us a couple of years, and hopefully he'll get involved with the Ottawa chapter.
All right, outstanding. So Dave, as I've been talking about, and I think you've heard a little bit about it, the Blue Bombers favored by 6.5 tonight over the Toronto Argonauts at IG Field. I've got Toronto to win. They're a healthier bunch. But that's just me. How do you feel about the line, and how do you feel about the game?
I think the line is probably right. We came out of the first quarter. Bombers came out of the first quarter. I shouldn't say we, because I had nothing to do with the game other than getting there early to drink a $5 beer. But the Bombers came out a little slow, and then they just basically manhandled, and the defense held. And Willie Jefferson, I understand, is going to be in the game. I'm sure we're still missing Andrew Harris and Darvin Adams, but with what we saw with the connection between Zach Collaros and Kenny Lawler, and we saw Nick Dembski play, and of course Brady Oliveira. Those guys will just do it. I think that the defense will hold and the offense will score. And as we saw last night, the Calgary Stampeders aren't a very good football team right now. So the Toronto win probably was a bit of a mirage, because it wasn't like some miraculous thing. It was the defending champions or something.
Well, there's 9 teams in this league, and I will guarantee you that we'll be overreacting on some of them in the first 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Exactly.
And I'm not sure if the Calgary Stampeders are one of those teams that we're overreacting on, but I will say they don't look that good. Bo Levi Mitchell's never thrown 4 interceptions in a football game, and he did. And that's the thing. Were you not thinking last night watching that game at all? Here's Calgary, 25 seconds left. Bo's going to march him down the field, and they're going to win the game.
100%. Most times I probably would have turned the game off out of boredom, and the outcome should have been determined. But, we were talking just before I got on the air with some of the guests just off stage, and this is the league that had no preseason games. And these are guys that basically were shut down for almost 2 full years. And it's going to take a little while to get back in the rhythm. We're not seeing a lot of sloppy football, but we're not seeing a lot of highlight football. Some of these games aren't going to be on SportsCenter for a long time.
Classic, ESPN Classics, you mean?
Well, when you're watching Montreal, Ottawa from 78 or something like that, that gets on CFL Classics. They're using that term very loosely.
Yeah, well, I don't know if there was a touchdown in the game last night. Well, Mike Riley rushed for one. Mm-hmm. Calgary did not score a touchdown. And then last week in the Edmonton-Ottawa game, there were no offensive touchdowns scored in that game. What did that end up? 15-6, I think. So the football's been a little slow there. Your game here last week was 19-6, right? What did you think when Hamilton raced out, scored a touchdown on that opening series? Did you think you were in trouble?
Yeah, of course. We stalled on our opening drive, and then we didn't put points on the board till 10 minutes in. But, once you saw that connection that Zach Collaros had. And I'm like you. Every time we watch Zach Collaros take a snap, you kind of hoping he doesn't get injured.
I'm kind of over that. But
yeah. You were always a big supporter, and you thought he was wrongly done by when Saskatchewan basically dumped him off to Toronto. And he sure proved his worth when he got to Winnipeg last season.
Football Friday, by the way, brought to you by Flame Tech, locally
Am I
owned.
Frenzy's replacement?
Football Friday, that's right. Locally owned and operated, industry leaders in commercial and industrial combustion technology. Mike Abu-Meshrik, I believe, will be John Frenzy's replacement. But if you thought that you were Frenzy's replacement, you'd be okay with that, right? You're not the biggest John Lynch fan as a Winnipegger.
You know
be
what?
honest.
I did meet him one time. He's a nice gentleman, and we liked the kid. I mean, he was calling the Saskatchewan Roughrider game since 1910 on Telegraph and Morse code.
How about that?
And, gave way a little bit later.
Spicy!
He probably, but you're a big supporter of his, and he does have such longevity in the business, and you have to admire that. And I thought to myself, you pick him up once a week. Why would the guy step down? This is a great gig.
Right.
You buy him lunch, you get him out of the
All
house.
of it. Yes, all of it. Absolutely.
He gets a ride in Big Bird. When does he ever get to do that?
By the way, on this Flame Tech Football Friday, Dave is not just a Winnipeg Blue Bombers season ticket holder, but also for the Minnesota Vikings. And because it is a Football Friday, we should talk about that. The Vikings have not yet played a preseason game.
Nope.
They've had COVID outbreaks.
Mm-hmm.
How much you following with what's going on with the school?
From a distance right now. They have their first preseason game against Denver tomorrow, 3 o'clock Central Time. I got to tell you one thing about the Minnesota Vikings organization. Of course, I'm a season ticket holder. There's always 2 preseason games. And, there's always a chance that I'm going to have to eat those tickets because it's really not great just to drive down to watch a preseason game. Like NFL preseason football is dreadful. Like it's just really dreadful. There's guys with 2 numbers, like sharing the numbers on the side. There's 99 guys on the sideline. But I got an email several weeks ago from the Vikings organization saying that we understand that there's still border restrictions and COVID and things like that. Check here on the box if you want to forfeit your tickets and have them credited to your account. And I did that. And I thought to myself, I was just going to eat them. Because once in a while, when, years ago when Oakland had to come to town or teams that didn't have great big followings in Minnesota, I had to eat those tickets sometimes. But I made it up for the Green Bay game, the Chicago game, when Dallas would come to town. This year there's a Pittsburgh game and Dallas this year, so it's going to be a very lucrative year to try to resell my tickets. Now, I don't buy them to resell them, but just a simple fact of the matter is it's hard to make 8 trips to Minneapolis between September and January, and the season gets pushed later. Back to your original question, I think the Minnesota Vikings made some impressive moves in the offseason, but it all comes down to what they can do when the quarterback gets the ball. And we're talking about Kirk Cousins. And I've never been much of a fan. I mean, yes, he's led the playoffs, and we've had some success. The Minnesota Vikings have had some success. But I just think there's something out of sync with the guy. And I'm not going to speak about his beliefs or vaccination beliefs and things like that, but I just don't know if that's the right fit for the Minnesota Vikings. Ben Roethlisberger, look at that guy. He is a Pittsburgh Steeler. You think Troy Aikman, Dallas Cowboys. And even Joe Montana ventured off a little bit to Kansas City. He's San Francisco. Is Kirk Cousins, will there be a statue outside U.S. Bank Stadium with Kirk Cousins on it?
You've been through enough of them, Dave, trying to find who the next Fran Tarkenton is. But I'll tell you what, that NFC North, there's a lot of drama in there. Look what's going on in Green Bay. You're probably loving that with Aaron Rodgers and whether he's going to play or not, and he's not going to play in the preseason, as you know. Who else is in that division? The Detroit Lions have a new quarterback in Jared Goff, right? And they've moved on from Matthew Stafford. So big things expected out of Detroit. Chicago is Chicago.
Yep.
We don't know what we're going to get. They're a box of chocolates.
I'd hate to be a Chicago Bears fan because that is more of a roller coaster than any other team.
Right, so Minnesota maybe just slides in under the radar.
Yeah, one would hope. Yeah, we'll see. Green Bay is always the perennial favorite in that division, and that's because of Aaron Rodgers. And then that's exactly my point about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, to me, is not Aaron Rodgers. And with the team, I don't see him as that leader. Aaron Rodgers a few years ago was a real leader. Now, who can say, he gets his nose out of joint. You see these guys do that. You saw the Packers do that with Brett Favre, right? So, it's kind of the way the Packers operate. So,
yeah, no kidding. Hey, I just want to swing this back to the game tonight at Investors Group Field, or IG Field. They've slimmed down the name of it to the Blue Bombers and the Argos. What was it like? And I appreciate you sending me the photos from the game last week, by the way. What was it like to be in the venue?
to
be in the stadium?
Oh, it was electric. It was absolutely electric. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that I wanted to see that the championship banner being raised. So I'm a person that usually parks my car to park and ride. I go to a local saloon, have a couple of chicken wings and a couple of adult pops, and then we get to the game. But I elected to take a ride share there, and I had 4 other people with me because I wanted to get there on time. And we got to the venue. I probably didn't spend more than 10 minutes in line. It was seamless. Had my ID, had my ticket, had my vaccination card, got in, and it was mayhem in there because they did have some food specials. They did have some beer specials, and they're doing the same tonight. $3 hot dogs, $5 beer before 7 o'clock. It's actually tremendous, and I never saw more happiness in my life at a Blue Bomber game. And I've been going since 1983 full time. People were happy to see each other. I know that you and I, we've kept in touch, phone, text, Facebook messages, and there's a lot of my circle of friends we've done that, the ones. But then all of a sudden that circle expanded so much when I saw people I hadn't seen since the last Blue Bomber game, and it wasn't my choice. It was other factors out there like called COVID and the pandemic, but it was so great to be in there. The atmosphere was electric. It was well lubricated because of the $5 beer.
It was a hot night-ish.
It was a hot night, and we're playing it. Everybody was charged up emotionally because it was the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and even before the 2019 Grey Cup, we had that rivalry dating back to '84 when we made that trade for Tom Clements and Dieter Brock, right? So it's always been, our Hamilton Tiger Cats are the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the East to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, and by the way, the sports doc here talks about us communicating. We've had a long-running joke that every time the Bombers win, he'll text me, or I'll text you, whoever gets to it first, was plan the parade. And the last time the CFL played, you actually had one because you won the championship, Dave.
Long time coming.
Yeah. Did you go down? You had to have gone down to the parade.
Absolutely. I wanted to be part of that. I didn't get to greet the team at the airport because I was still in Calgary, but I did manage to get to a couple of the functions after and have my picture taken with the Grey Cup. It's just such a joyous moment because I am a season ticket holder. And I know that to a lot of people, there's a lot more important things in life than sports, but nothing unites a community like sports. And whether it be the National Hockey League, whether it be the Canadian Football League, whether it be the American Association of Independent Baseball, like our Winnipeg Goldeyes play in. It's a united community. I went to some Goldeyes games last week, and it was the same thing. People I hadn't seen in a long time, and from the guy selling popcorn to the lady at the souvenir at the concessions at the merchandise shop. That's what I'm trying to say. It was great. It was like seeing friends again.
Well, the poll question today, by the way, something jarred in my mind here. For Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, it is who's Winnipeg's biggest sports icon? And I'll just tell you that Hustler said we got the top 4, okay? He said we got the top 4. Ken Plain, Dale Howardchuck, Milt Stiegel, Bobby Hall. Howardchuck running away with it, 64%. But we have put Chris Streveler in there?
Chris Streveler would be 5, but he would fade. But they made the announcement today, True North made an announcement today, they've applied to the city to have a stretch of street be Dale Howardchuck Way.
Yes.
Just outside. And, of course, the big statue will go up next year in True North Place. So, yeah, Dale Howardchuck, absolutely. And it's, a lot of times when a guy gets traded away like Dieter Brock, there's that he didn't want to be here thing, or he didn't want to be here. We see that now with guys like Jacob Trouba when Dustin Byfuglien stepped away from the game. But Dale Howardchuck has always had a place in our hearts, and he married a lady from Manitoba.
Right.
And he came back here, and I was at the ceremony when they raised his number up to the rafters, and it was just such a joyous and. I guess I'm trying to get emotional again. It was so much fun, and then you saw guys come back, and the one thing about Mark Chipman and his staff and the great organization, they brought everybody back together. United two teams, and everybody saw he doesn't want anything to do with the old Jets. Yes, he does. He loves that legacy. They announced a new license plate honoring the legacy today.
It was a big day for us to be milling about outside this arena. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, you didn't hear us say earlier, but the Jets literally grabbed us, pulled us in, and said, sit down, you're going to be part of this, which was awesome. Winnipegish. Very nice.
Yeah. In a great way.
Yeah, that's
Lynch never used it in a great way.
He never used it right. They were very hospitable and kind. Oh, I can't get out of here without you telling the story of us going to the Moose game in this very building, you and me, doing the loser laps on the concourse here in between periods.
Absolutely. And that's before the days of the RP show. This was when you were still on radio.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that knew you from, the CFL hits that you did on television and things like that. But, I'm well known in this town, and people come up and friends and people always say hi, but it was out of control. It was here, like people coming up to you and they couldn't believe that you weren't wearing a Saskatchewan Roughriders jacket or that, they
weren't very nice, Dave. That's my point.
I thought they were nice. They could have been a lot worse. I mean, this is I've gone to pro wrestling matches in this town. I've been a bad guy wrestler and stuff. It could have been a lot worse.
It's a tough guy town. So we'll see what happens tonight at IG Field. But if they were catcalling me on the concourse, and thank God Dave's a big guy, you had my back, which you always do.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. It's not as hard a job as it used to be.
And are you with the Unwashed today at IG Field? Or are you going to be up in a suite? Or
Oh, we got tickets. I'll show you from the Bombers. So I'll show you where they are. So anyways, Doc.
Because it might be worse tonight. So I think you would still wear this shirt tonight.
Yeah, wear blue.
It is the right color.
Wear blue. Yeah. All right, David. Thanks again, buddy. Good seeing you. The Sports Doc.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.